little tired, but honestly better than I thought I'd be feeling. So we're in a good spot. Good spot.
Did you ever think you would play that many minutes in a game before? At what point did you realize it's just like a battle of will at this point?
When we go in, it's usually like that when you go into one overtime and you kind of flip into that mindset. You usually don't have to stay in it that long, but no, it was kind of crazy, but a lot of fun being a part of that game.
What have the last 72 hours, 48 hours been like recovery-wise?
A lot of rest, a lot of work with Ben, our trainer, a lot of work with Jeremy, but not a ton of running or anything like that quite yet.
There's so many things that you couldn't control at the end of that game, things that you could control that didn't get executed right. What do you think when you guys got done with that and we're just kind of talking about it, what did you learn about yourselves in terms of being able to just overcome a mountain of things that could have ended up in a different result?
Yeah, I think especially in a game like that on the road, I think it just becomes more of a mental battle than anything else because, both teams are tired at that point. So it's just, can you keep it together mentally, especially with the crowd against you like it was? So I think it just showed how mentally tough we are and how we stuck together throughout that whole game.
Went from 5 shots against UConn to 23 on the other day. How did you guys make you more of a focal point in terms of getting you the ball in different ways throughout the game?
Yeah, I think that's something that's usually a focal point for every game. Just sometimes, you get in the game and different players are shooting it well. The defense is doing something different. So I think that's a lot of our focus point for a lot of the games. Is sometimes you go into it and it plays out a different way. So this last game against Seton Hall played out where I could get a bunch of shots up against against UConn. There was other shots we were taking that were good looks. So I think it's just a game-to-game sort of thing, but it's always kind of a focus to get establish my presence inside.
To the point of fatigue. Did you do anything different in the Seton Hall game from the UConn game in terms of communication or different ways you were trying to get open or anything like that?
Maybe I did a better job of doing it, but I don't know if there was anything drastically different as far as the game plan. Probably just did a better job at stuff that coaches already have been wanting me to work on.
To the point of fatigue, both you, Trey, and Baylor almost all 55, almost all 40 minutes for the last couple games. So how do you try to just make sure your load management is in a good situation at this point in the season and it doesn't catch up with you?
Well, that's just a bunch of that is listening to Jeremy and Ben. Jeremy does a great job getting us in shape and ready before games like this show up, so when we do have to play 40 minutes or for overtime games in the 50s, our bodies can handle it. And then we just work with them after the game to do the proper recovery, and they do a really good job of that. So it's just about listening to people who know what they're talking about.
I know you guys were down for the UConn game, but I don't know. How big was it to split that road trip and keep yourself in the title race?
Yeah, it's big. Obviously, those teams are really good, and those two teams are going to be kind of in the race all throughout the year. So obviously, you want to go 2-0, but 1-1 isn't the end of the world, whereas 0-2 might kind of digs yourself a hole. So at the end of the day, you'll take 1-1 and just move on to the next game.
When Coach gave that speech after the game about you guys help a teammate out when they're down, what did you take away from that? And just to be in that, what was he talking about? What was that in context of?
I just think that's kind of the DNA of this team. I don't think anyone on this team really has to try too hard to be a good teammate. That's just kind of how we are. We're all just naturally good people. We're naturally people who just want to help our teammates out. So I think it's just kind of building on that throughout the season, knowing that not every team's like that and using that as a strength for us instead of, just kind of thing that just is.
How's your job?
It's doing better now. I couldn't close it after the game. And yesterday I could almost close it, but not quite. And today I can finally close it. So it's doing better.
Was it hard to talk on defense after that?
It wasn't too hard to talk because I could still open and close it. I just couldn't get it closed all the way. They play super fast, number one. They play a little bit different than some teams in the fact they have more of a traditional 4 kind of. Plays big, so a little bit of different work. Their coaches are really good at coming up with really creative things on offense. So Xavier is really well coached, really talented team. So we'll just have to be prepared and ready for what they have to offer us.
How do you slow down a team that's that good in transition and tries to create as many opportunities as they can in transition in the game?
I think it just comes down to hustling back on defense and communicating, because a lot of times when teams come that fast, the team on defense doesn't communicate something out and there's a breakdown. So that's the big key, is just communicating it out and making sure everyone's back and ready.
Ever think your minutes played would match your jersey number before?
No, I didn't. But I mean, it was a fun game to be a part of. Obviously, didn't think it was ever going to end. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of minutes. But that's what I trained for.
Mac talks about how your sports science team kind of make sure you guys keep your load managed throughout the week. But within a game like that, and the fatigue, like how do you battle that? How does that impact your play down the stretch? And what do you have to do to counteract it when you're playing such heavy minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just all kind of mental and the preparation. Kind of just trust your training. You know, we spent a lot of time in the off season preparing our bodies for the season, and like Max said, when we're in season, you know, Jeremy does a great job of load managing us throughout the week, and even throughout like practice to make sure that, you know, if that needs to be the case where we have to play a lot of minutes like that, we're ready for it. And you know, like I said, when it comes push comes to shove, it's all mental, and we're all competitors, and we want to be out there, and so we'll push through whatever we need to do to get the W.
I asked Ryan this too. Like, when you're sitting in the locker room or on the plane and just thinking back on like how did we win that game, you know, and how crazy it was. The fact that so many things didn't go according to plan, that you kind of just had to find a way at times to make things work. Especially we were down 5 and overtime. Like, what do you think you learned about yourselves as a group that you were able to find a way to win that game?
Yeah, I think we just did a great job of just kind of moving on to the next play. Because like you said, there were a lot of plays where we thought maybe we won the game and then we lost it. The emotions going up and down the whole game, and kind of being able to just stay like even keeled and just move on from one play to the next, I think was a big thing for us to learn and grow from.
How's your body feel today, and what have the past 48 hours been like?
Yeah, my body feels pretty good today. You know, I've done a lot of recovery the past 48 hours, and yesterday was really light for practice, more mental stuff. So we can get after it a little bit today, but a lot of recovery the past 48 hours.
How close do you think some of those younger guys on the bench are to be able to alleviate guys like you, Trey, Ryan, when, I mean, you didn't really know you were going to play 3 overtimes, but more so in regulation. How close are some of those younger guys?
Yeah, you know, I think they're close. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, that's not my decision to make or my thing. You know, trust Mac that, you know, he knows best, and that's kind of my answer to that one.
Baylor, especially after UConn, to get that win, now get a chance to come home and build momentum off of that. How big was it?
Yeah, it was big. Obviously, you know, we obviously wanted to win both those on the road, but to get one is big, especially, you know, UConn didn't win there, Marquette didn't win there, so there's a lot of great teams in our league that haven't won there. So it was a big win for us, and it was nice to get in and just be able to come home.
You guys obviously are a veteran group that's played together in a lot of different situations, but I mean, just is it always valuable to just go to a ringer like that in the regular season as you're preparing for March?
Yeah, 100%. You know, you have to be able to win a game in whatever fashion, and obviously a 3 overtime game is something you don't necessarily see a lot of times, but definitely gives us confidence, you know, if it ever does come up.
2 more. How much of your transition defense discipline needs to be on point tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Xavier that just kind of just go crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big part of the game. Obviously, on makes and misses, they push it regardless, and you know we're gonna have to get back, get matched up, load the ball, and be able to help each other in the gaps because they're really looking to get downhill, especially early in the shot clock.
Is that tough to do after playing 55 minutes?
Hey man, it's just basketball. I love to do it, and at the end of the day, I'll be ready to go tomorrow.
What's that?
Did Jeremy tell you you're okay to coach tomorrow?
I am. I need a little rest, but I'm good to go.
Fire away.
Yeah, I just want to start with the, like, you don't get emotional very often, but you did after that win in the locker room when you were addressing the guys. Why do you think that happened?
Because there's a lot of good stuff that had happened in that game, but there were also some critical errors at different points of the game, and you can't have someone lose their mind when they make a critical error, and the best way to get them past that is a pat on the back from the teammate. And this group has been incredible at rallying around each other, and it was on full display in Newark on Saturday.
Mac, how are you feeling after 3 overtimes on Saturday? How's your body feel?
Unfortunately, I don't get paid by the hour, so I guess it's the same. But no, it was an incredible game. It was 2 really, really good teams, a very physical game. It's one of those games where, one play here or there, bounce of a ball changes the outcome. But really proud of the way we stuck to it, kind of the way, because our backs were really against the wall, and we went down 5 in that third overtime, and we just kept plugging away and defended and executed some offense really well to get us, get us back in the game and then figure out a way to win it.
I know as a coach, you're always trying to get execution to as close to perfect as you can get it as the season goes on, but to get through a game like that, 3 overtimes on the road against the team that's leading the league right now, is playing as good as anybody in the league. What does that do for a team in terms of the long-term projectability of what you're trying to build?
Well, I mean, every win in this league is important, and especially when you can go on the road and like I told the guys, like we lost one to Villanova that we probably should have won. We maybe stole one against St. John's when things didn't look great. You have to now go do something that not many people are going to do. You have to go steal one somewhere, and that was Seton Hall is certainly one of those opportunities where not a lot of teams are going to win there. UConn's already lost there. Marquette's already lost there. So it just puts you in a better spot. Obviously, it's a win that's going to have teeth in March when you can beat a team as good as Seton Hall on the road.
They're physical and disruptive on defense. You guys got 23 shot attempts, only 6 turnovers in 55 minutes. 23 for Ryan, that is. How were you able to execute and get to your spots, especially coming off that UConn game where you kind of outscored?
Yeah, we really took good care of the basketball. Stephen had 8 assists, no turnovers, but Trey and Baylor were sound with the ball as well. And Culk was active. We were able to get him on the move some and then get him on the block some. And, he wasn't as efficient as he usually is around the rim. And a couple times he maybe got fouled. But, for him to do what he did at his size and play 50 minutes is really incredible.
You talked before we left about the answer for three-point shooting was to keep on shooting. Stephen, I think, was 1 of 7 in that game before he hit that big 3. I mean, is that just another example of what you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen shot the ball great his entire career, and as long as he's taking the right ones, and I think he has a better feel of kind of where they're coming from. But during that stretch where we went down 9, I think we hit 3 threes in a row, maybe by 3 different guys. I think Trey hit 1, Bello hit 1, maybe Baylor hit 1, and got us right back in the game. So you have to trust that part of our game. The guys, as you can see behind me, they're always working at it. So it's going to continue to be a big part of our offense. It needs to be, but besides the shooting, we had some guys really step up and hustle plays, defensive plays, backboards. There's a lot of good things that happened in that game.
Coach, Baylor, Kalk, and Trey have walked some miles over the last couple games. So in addition to what they said about you, kind of prepping them, how do you continue to monitor that, especially heading into both the tournament prep?
Well, as I've said before, you have so many miles you want on their bodies each week, and if they put a lot of miles on in a game, then you have to back off in practice. So yesterday was a scheduled practice day, but those the 6 guys that played the lion's share of the minutes, we just walked through some stuff yesterday and got them out of there, and then we scrimmaged and got a bunch of shooting with the rest of the guys. So you just manage it outside of practice time. The other thing is they're 22, 23 years old. Like, we're not talking about old guys that need to be on minute restrictions. They're going to be okay. If it's an off season, they'll play pickup ball for 3 hours and get up the next morning and do it again. So we're managing it, and Jeremy and Ben do a great job of that. And the guys do a good job of taking care of their bodies.
Especially on the road, when your opponents go on a run, somewhat their team's play. What factors go into when you analyze when you want to take a timeout or when you just think, I'm just going to let it play through this?
I mean, part of it is, are you getting good shots? And, we decided not to take a timeout when we went down 9 the second half and we hit 3 threes in a row. And I felt like our offense was cooking okay there. And I also think our teams train better to play through fatigue than a lot of teams because of the way we play and the way we train. That you get a team a little bit tired and all of a sudden you get an easier shot than you want to get. And so I trust our guys. We work on that stuff in practice. So and then there's some teams that set up a different defense on the side out of bounds or they switch to a zone. And if you know what defense they're in and you think you know what might work against it, I've always been a fan of just letting the guys play.
Like, how close do you think some of the younger guys on the bench are to alleviate Ryan, Trey, and Nitro they have to play 40 or
they're getting better, but are they at the level that those 3 guys are? No, and we shouldn't expect them to be. But they're working, they're getting better. Josiah's done some good things in practice the last couple of weeks. I think Jason Green has had 2 really good weeks, and it's why he's seen the floor a little bit more. But we're for the most part, we're going to ride the group we've been riding because they've been doing a good job.
What kind of challenges is Xavier backcourt in particular?
Man, they're so fast. Fastest team we played this year in transition. And really all 3 of them can come at you with pace, especially when they take it off the glass. So our ability to get back, get turned around, and defend, I think they're 3rd in the country in their efficiency in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock. So we're going to have to get back, get turned around, get our defense put together. And also it's easier to get your defense put together if, number one, you don't turn it over, and number 2, you're taking good shots. A bad shot, oftentimes, when somebody takes a bad shot, it's a shot their teammates didn't expect them to take. So your transition defense isn't already on the move when someone takes a bad shot. So as crazy as it sounds, shot selection is really important to transition defense and probably doesn't get talked about enough.